tremendous looking trophy.
One of the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me, Ash Holdley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here for this expansion and enhancement of our PS5 reveal video podcast.
There you go. There's a good, good description. Sure, I'll roll with it. This week in the trophy cabinet, a silver trophy for the Vita on its way out the door. There you go. A gold trophy for Star Wars Squadron on its way, and we hit a platinum for some follow-up. PS5 event news. Quickly though, want to jump in to the fact that I finally beat all the Uncharted games, and I deserve a round of self-applause. You know, thank you.
Finally
went back
after 3 years.
I don't know when did it come out. Lost Legacy we're talking about, by the way. That's the one I had not played. That's the one I recently played. My main question is, because it's been years since you played it. Do you think they should just make these short Uncharted things of spin-off characters like every couple of years? Should that just be a thing?
Yes, please. as long as they're of this quality, I think. And I mean, yeah. I mean, it'd be fun to have occasional adventures in that Uncharted universe, that kind of gameplay, those kind of stories. It's always fun to do, like treasure hunting and that kind of thing. But I don't think Naughty Dog's that's probably not the thing Naughty Dog is interested in doing, I would imagine.
Maybe it's probably a thing Sony's interested in doing. That.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, hey, we'll put another team together and they can do these adventures starring Chloe and doing different things.
Because when I'm playing it, right, and I realize how big it is, and I already kind of knew it was big, right, but then when I'm playing it, I'm experiencing it's a full-on game, not just a spin-off thing. And then because if you can compare it to like, but how about Infamous First Light, right? But that was still that was a lot closer tied into the main game than this is. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with Uncharted 4. It's literally just another game. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that's getting me. Right? So Left Behind DLC connected to the main game. First Light DLC, it's basically prequel explanation of a character in the game, plus also like an epilogue thing. So that's connected to the game. Uncharted Lost Legacy, it's just its own thing. It's just its own game. It's not an expansion of Uncharted 4. It's its own game. It was alright. I rate it just above the original Uncharted. And I'm still not sure if that's a hot take or not. But that's where it's sitting. And by the way, that does mean, yes, everyone, I do rate Uncharted Golden Abyss on the PS Vita above this. I'm sorry. Oof. Sorry. Like, I don't know if that's a hot take. Maybe that is a hot take. That game's quite fun. It was quite a really good Uncharted game. I don't know. Did you? I don't know. You have it. Do you have a Vita?
Yeah, I do.
Do you play Uncharted?
No.
Okay.
I've got it. I just never got around to playing it.
Why'd you buy a Vita and not play the Uncharted game?
Just to have a Vita.
What'd you play on your Vita?
I can't even remember now at this point. Just small things. I think
Would you play like day one? Like, when did you get your Vita?
Like 4 or 5 years ago.
So like shortly after it came out?
No.
Like a year or so?
No, a while ago.
Oh, I can't remember how long it's been out. So you buy a Vita, what do you buy day one when you get it?
I can't remember. I think I bought Persona. I've got the little cartridge thing for Golden Abyss. I think I played like an hour of it and then that was it.
Wow. This is distressing. Because I'm like, I get mine day one.
This explains a lot, right?
Yeah, I get mine day one, and what am I playing day one?
Uncharted.
I mean, the Uncharted game on a handheld. I mean, there's what do you do? You know. Anyway, let's move into the PlayStation news. So, in case you missed it, obviously, we're not going to be covering everything about the PS5 event. If you somehow haven't seen or haven't noticed or haven't been on the Twits, the Twats, the Facebooks, whatever you want to call it, we did do a PS5 bonus episode last Friday when the PS5 event happened. Me, Ash, Kieran, Buddy Watson from Radio Watson, We all sat down, discussed it, everything, broke down all the games, all the news, went for like 2 hours. Great episode. Go listen to that episode. But to follow up on some things, we do have some stories to cover that have happened since then that have, some of them interesting, some of them are weird. But let's start with the weird / slightly interesting at the same time. Well, what are your thoughts on the Spider-Man Miles Morales? Let's describe it as the 24-hour news cycle of mayhem. Because from my point of view, it was utter nonsense. I have no idea. The only interesting take I've seen on Miles Morales that I'm like, that's a good point, is how I think it was I don't know if you say Jitta or Gita Jacobs. I don't know. It was an article written about how why do all the things starring black people have to be like spin-off titles? You know, it's like the only Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry was spin-off. Miles Morales spin-off. That's the only interesting take I've seen pointed out. However, the hot take about this not being a full game or whatever that was started by this interview that was posted somewhere. I can't even remember at this point. Does it say here?
Telegraph,
right? Yeah. So I see someone share this. I think it was Nibble or Nibellion. How you know that
Yep.
Twitter, right? So I see him share this article. I then see someone else retweet it, and then I see Shannon from Press Start replying, and he's like, "I don't think they're saying what you think they're saying." And I chimed in then and replied to his tweet and was like, "I read their article. It just sounds like he's saying it's a spin-off, but they've just updated the engine that they use for the main game,
the world, yeah,
and extended it for this. Like they haven't rebuilt everything. This is like they've rebuilt, extended upon what they had to make this game. Not that this game was going to include the base game." So I read that interview and I was like, I don't know where everyone, you know, it's the blue dress or whatever it was, the blue green whatever thing. You know, like I read this thing and I'm black gold, whatever it was. I read this thing straight away and I'm like, what's that everyone on about? Like, I don't see how anyone's reading this and getting that this is a DLC and you have to rebuy the main game. I did not get that at all. So then I go to sleep. I wake up in the morning and overnight, Games Twitter had like a meltdown, was like, oh man, they lied to us. They're going to have to make us buy the game again, blah, 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 blah. Day continues. Once again, I'm reading all this going, I just don't agree. I do not agree at all. I'm not going to even talk about this. I am waiting for Sony to hopefully chime in and, you know, calm everyone down, which they did about halfway through whatever day this was, Saturday or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, like halfway through the day, eventually someone's like, from Somnax, like, hey, Miles Morales is a standalone game. It is a standalone full game.
Yep.
Go for gold. And then everyone was like,
but is it though?
but is it as big as the main one? Because if it's not, you lied to us. And again, I don't even understand that hot take because there's no point in that reveal trailer that they're like, as big as the main Spider-Man game, and definitely not the size of Uncharted Lost Legacy, which is also still quite big, as we just discussed on Platinum Explosion, but not big enough, so we definitely lied to you. And I
puddles.
Puddles.
Where are the puddles?
Yeah. So, I mean, do you have any thoughts on this whole thing? Because it's just weird, in my opinion.
More amusing than anything else, I think. Seeing people so sure that it's going to be an expansion to Spider-Man. Yeah, it seems a weird thing to get upset about. I mean, even if it was an expansion to Spider-Man, I think that wouldn't be terrible depending on the price structure. If it was like exactly the same price as the original Spider-Man, you get the original game plus all the DLC plus.
Well, I would say, all right, so let's play in Dreamland for a second.
Yeah, just assuming that was.
Yeah, like let's if that was a thing, here's how I'd be okay with it. They've fully rebuilt, re-updated the world, so you can play the full Spider-Man game, and what you buy includes the DLC, and it's not a full price game, but you can also, if you already own the game, or even if it just picks up you've played the game, you can just buy the DLC for its own play it by itself. Kind of like, as I just mentioned, like Freedom Cry, that was available to buy by itself. Left Behind, of course, is available to buy by itself. You know, like they've done these things where these DLCs, not as big as Lost Legacy, but they have like released them separately. That's the only way I'd be okay with this. I could understand in this dream world people being shitty if they're like, I brought the game already. Why are you making me buy the entire thing again just to play the one DLC I want? I don't want to replay it all. I just want to play Miles Morales. You know? I would get that. That would be weird.
But yeah, that's not what happened.
No, that's not what happened. I'm saying in the dream world.
I mean, I would be a bit upset, but I wouldn't be like throwing pitchforks and that kind of stuff. I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. It's a solid business move. It would be understandable. It wouldn't be, you know.
I just don't understand, like, so like,
assuming they like threw in new costumes and you know, and they showcase how much better it's been, like enhanced or whatever to run better on PS5 and that kind of thing. No load screens.
Yeah, the thing that just confuses me though is like all the people that were writing like, man, none of this would have happened if they had better explained it during the PS5 presentation. And I mean, I don't get it because when I watched the trailer, my mind went, this looks cool, but also it's only been, what, a year and a half? 2 years? How long's it been? When did that game come out? Last year? I don't even remember. When did Spider-Man come out? 2018, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like 2 years later. My mind, because I'm the same person, goes, they have not developed an entire brand new Spider-Man game in time for launch of PS5 in that short period of time. So this, therefore, is Lost Legacy, which is what it is. Like, I felt like my mind could just connect the dots and other people were looking for... But how do you release a trailer and then have it come up on screen and explain its Lost Legacy size without just writing, hey,
game length.
It's a game the size of Lost Legacy-ish.
Or you just write spin-off. I mean, they could have, if they really wanted to, but I don't see the point in that. Maybe they could have been more clear in their blog post that, hey, this is a spin-off. It's going to be a bit smaller than a potential Spider-Man 2 that's in the works. But yeah, getting a quote from, what was it? The executive vice president and head of European business operations. Probably not the person to go to about game design and length.
Well, I don't know why they were talking to him, but I'm going to say that maybe he should have just said no comment when they asked the question. You know, like, maybe this is something he shouldn't have really commented on when they asked, because it sounds like he didn't really know. He didn't really know what was the best way to answer that question. Anyway, let's move on. So the next thing that was interesting that's come up since the reveal is, and I completely forgot about this within the hype. So I think it was like in a couple days in the lead up to the PS5 event. IGN put up this article, and I remember reading it and being like, oh, this sounds exciting. And they wrote, the writer behind Dead Space has revealed that a game he's worked on will feature during Thursday's PS5 event. Anthony Johnston, who wrote the script for Dead Space and has credits on Shadow of Mordor and Binary Domain, tweeted, quote, as some of you know, I've been working on a big video game for almost 2 years now. In totally unrelated news, you should all watch the PS5 launch event on Thursday. And I was like, great. Is it a new Dead Space? That would be exciting. But also, if it's not, I'm still kind of interested to find out what happened. And of course, the PS5 event happens. I completely forget about this. I think everyone kind of forgets about this in the hype of everything. And then obviously his game was never there. And people went back to his Twitter feed and the tweet has since been deleted. So I don't know what's going on there, because he even followed up, as IGN points out here. It's like Johnston added in subsequent replies that the game has you play a character having a really bad time, which is obviously not much to go on, as they point out here, but it does sound like a horror game. It even sounds like Isaac Clarke's story from Dead Space. So, but it's weird. I wonder what happened with this. I don't know where it could be potentially moved. I don't know why they may have moved something, unless I think I don't know if I'm jumping to conclusions or anything, but maybe they pulled it because tonally the subject matter wasn't the right time, maybe. You know?
Yes, that's my thinking as well. Maybe the subject matter of the game. Probably not the best timing to bring up.
Like, without knowing anything about it, but it does seem like...
It's like, something racially motivated or...
Possibly. Or even if it involved, like,
police.
Riots or police or anything in that kind of spectrum, then maybe they decided to pull it, yeah.
Yes.
Which, I mean, if that is the case, it's probably the right move, but then it's also kind of, I would understand how he and the team for I don't actually know what series but him and the team working on the game, obviously they would, that they hopefully were all like, yeah, we understand if this is the case, but that would be kind of shitty at the same time because you went from having your game revealed at a hugely watched PS5 reveal event to
one of the biggest watched things on Twitch ever, isn't it?
No, there was that story going around where people were saying it's like the most watched thing, and then once again, quickly, it was proven
wrong.
There's nothing to back up this, right? This is just someone said it. People wrote articles about it. Everyone clicked to retweet.
The biggest watched console reveal event.
Maybe, I don't know. All I know is that one story that was going around saying PS5 event, the most watched
PS5 reveal event.
That's true. That's one it can have. Yeah, that's one it can have.
Yeah,
but yeah, all those ones. In case anyone listening had seen those, all those ones saying, "Hey, the PS5 event was the most watched like gaming stream event. Why would Sony ever go back to E3? Blah 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 blah." It was like 24 hours after all those were going around that people started pointing out like, who is this person saying this, and also how where's the facts to back this up? So once again, I see those sorts of things and I'm like, where's the not to shout journalistic integrity and all, but like, can I have a little bit of proof in my pudding over here? And I'm happy I'm obviously happy for Sony to own the highest grossing stream of it, but I'd rather them do it with proof. But anyway, so it'll be interesting to see where this game shows up again now, because I'm going to presume, I mean, maybe Sony do a follow-up event, but even then it's not going to be as big. So, and I'm keen to see it because I love Dead Space, so I just want to know more. And then another follow-up thing we had since the PS5 event was as Upload VR, right? Despite the fact that the PlayStation 5 reveal event didn't include a single mention of PSVR or the upcoming successor VR headset, don't worry too much. Sony Interactive Entertainment's president CEO Jim Ryan confirmed in an interview published today on CNET that the PSVR is compatible with PS5. He said, quote, "All that we have said to date, and we're not adding to tonight, is that the current PlayStation VR is compatible with PS5. The camera that we demonstrated tonight will be available as a peripheral. It will not be in the box at launch." Then, as they point out, Upload VR points out here, they write, "This sounds to me like the HD camera will offer enhanced features that were not available with the PS4 camera, unrelated to VR, and is likely going to be used to enable current generation PSVR compatibility. However, as Ryan states, it's not included in the box. If what we've heard rumored about PSVR 2 is true, that makes sense, especially since it isn't releasing when the PS5 itself releases this holiday season. Presumably, it will use different tracking system that doesn't require light bulbs and external cameras, but perhaps will instead be fully wireless, sort of like the Oculus Quest with brand new controllers." Yes, please. Yes, because that's the I gotta be honest, the camera was a weird thing to me because, like, if you're presuming that PSVR 2 doesn't use light tracking, which by God it better not, because there's no way you can release a VR thing in like 2021. Or late 2020, wherever, late 2021, early 2022 or something like that, mate, hopefully. And it's like, hey, still got to wave your fucking move ones around to be able to track this thing.
Yeah.
So when they showed the camera for the PS5, it's like, what's that for? Is this camera... And
well, maybe... It's for streaming.
Yeah, but it's got two 1080p. I mean, maybe that's just for a quality thing.
Probably.
I don't really know, but
like one zoomed in, one zoomed out.
maybe I don't. I don't know. I know it obviously wouldn't make sense, but it does continue to. I just find it weird because most people who get into streaming now, I guess, it's like even if they start streaming locally on their PlayStation, they quickly, if they start getting into it, they just rotate out. They buy an Elgato and they.
I don't know. I would suspect there's a fair portion of people who just do it
Yeah.
through their PlayStation. Yep. Maybe this is a sign they're going to have better features because they've got this camera that you can use. You can stream properly through Twitch.
The thing that works for PSVR version 1, hopefully with this camera, would be that currently if you stream PSVR on your PlayStation, you can't do face cam at the same time because the camera has to be used to track that.
To track you.
But I'm like, if they've got two high quality cameras built into it, because the current camera has the two eyes, but I think they're both lower quality, so they need both to track. But if they've got two 1080p ones, then maybe one can be used for tracking, and the other one could be used for webcam in the streaming and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Interested to see if you could just use the webcam. It's like webcam.
Like chat or something.
Yeah, chat. Also, just put it in your PC.
I think you can plug most PlayStation cameras into PC and use them. Like, or at least you can download some sort of firmware that lets it work or something like that.
I mean, just a handy thing to have then.
We can't go backwards. You can't just plug in your Logitech.
Yeah.
G720
but, I mean,
or whatever.
Video chat potentially could be an interesting thing for some people.
What, on your PlayStation?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't do that. Or maybe it doesn't. I've never noticed or cared to look. Like,
maybe.
Can you do video
just
chat?
Have little people in your corner or whatever.
In the corner? Little hangouts in the corner while you're playing a multiplayer game? I feel like that would get very annoying fast.
Well, maybe not for like a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Maybe like for party games or something like a Destiny or a
you're like, not for first-person shooters, maybe
like
party games or
Diablo,
Destiny.
something like that. That's third person, so I'm right.
Destiny's first person.
Is
or Diablo. Diablo is isometric. Whatever.
Yeah, I thought Destiny was third person. I'm
Really?
thinking of Fortnite.
You thought Destiny was third person?
Yeah, for some reason, doesn't matter. Moving on.
From the makers of Halo comes the third person.
That's
shooter.
a third person game, right?
Destiny, yeah. Really. In another post PS5 news update, we've got teased about the interface, and I find this one interesting because it's the complete opposite of what Xbox is doing. So VG247, right, it was recently unveiled that the PS5 interface, which is due to be demonstrated soon, will include 100% overhaul of the PS4 UI. The news comes from Matt McLaurin, who is the Vice President of UX Design at PlayStation. After posting a photo after the PS5 revealed, McLaurin shared new details about Sony's next-gen console while replying to comments on LinkedIn, saying, quote, "You'll see our stuff soon, a little more pragmatic, but 100% overhaul of the PS4 UI and very powerful new concepts." He said, yes, we'll be talking a little bit more about it after launch, and he said it's a huge evolution, and the reveal will hopefully be happening soon. Now, also this week, we got the news that Xbox have said that the Series X UI will still be in line with the current one. Of course, it's going to get updated slightly before then, but they update their UI like every two times every year, kind of thing. Anyway, and presumably it'll just get updated across the entire Xbox brand, and that is in line with what Xbox's sort of thing is, where everything's connected. You play it wherever, you do it, whatever. Everything kind of looks the same or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's cool for them. But I am happy that the PlayStation UI is getting updated because I mean, I don't hate it, but at the same time, like I have this weird thing where I don't like Xbox's UI because there's too much going on and it makes it run like shit, in my opinion. Like it's like it's trying to do a lot and it doesn't run very well and it makes it very confusing. However, I do wish that PlayStation could pull off a lot more of an interesting sort of splash screen. Like at times I wish when you turn on your console, I always thought it would be cool if straight away it brought you into a really cool flashy looking screen where it's got like the watch new feed, you know, where it shows like people getting the trophies and posting screenshots and all that, and like here's who's online, here's what they're playing, but also like, hey, you're close to getting this trophy, maybe you want to play that game. Because Xbox does these things where it's like, it'll come up and be like, hey, you're like at 6 out of 10 kills for this achievement, do you want to get this, you know, all these sorts of things. They're cool. And then even if you could like back out of that and go to your typical XMB bubble thing, and then just it's very simple when you want to find what games you want to play. But even just like a really cool sort of home screen. Yeah. How do you feel about the PS4 UI? Do you like simple?
I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's how it's been for the last 2 generations, pretty much.
Basically,
the bar. If it's a 100% overhaul, I suspect the bar's going. I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it would be good if they gave you options, like
to customize it, or
to customize, like, or to rearrange however you want, or several options as to how you want your interface to be run. You know, that would be an interesting move.
Even
like
from
you can change your Android interface any way you want. So if you don't like the launch, you can get another one. That kind of thing.
Well, even from a like accessibility point of view, it's like big flashy things might not work for some people.
Everybody, yeah.
So having options might be a good thing there. So me, I want something that's flashy but easy to use. Which sounds obviously hard, but you know it's not my job to work on and design these things.
Yeah,
I just want something a bit more exciting because we have, you know, like the current iteration of what you know, the XMB/bubble thing / whatever you want to call the current version expanded upon. It's like we had the PS3, then they released the PS Vita, and they got the bubble system going, and then they kind of melded the PS Vita bubble system and used that as like the jumping off point for designing the PS4 UI. But it's all been very much the same. It's simple. It's elegant. I don't know if I go that far, but either way, it's easy to use. And as soon as they added the folders, it made it a lot easier as well. Because remember, there was a stage where we didn't have the folders, and it was like,
how do you find your games?
Yeah, how do I find my games? So, but when they added folders, it was like, okay, we're good now. We can find our games. You can organize your things. You're kind of good to go.
Cool.
There's still some things.
If you're going to fix up the UI, can you also fix up the UI on the PlayStation Store on PC on the web?
Oh,
so then I can find stuff I've downloaded quicker.
I think that's someone else's job, but if only that's the thing. I hope. I mean, I don't know how many things I can just hope get revealed ahead of the PS5, but it would be amazing if they're like new PS5 UI. It's got this thing has way better network chip in it, so it's going to run faster there. But also, when you go into the new PlayStation Store, that sucker's been updated not only on the PS5, but also on the PS4 and also on the web browser. Yes. And we've updated the mobile app, so it doesn't just when you click store open a fucking web browser to take you there. Like it's all
inside the app.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I'm going too many dreams.
If they've created a digital only edition of the console, you'd have to hope that they've fixed the network card.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of expect it at this stage, surely.
I mean, it's either that or they bundle in a massive Ethernet cord.
Maybe. Or
it's the least they can do.
The old digital one has a better network card, but the disc one, same as PS4. Get fucked. No, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need the better one. So use the disc money on. It's fine.
I mean, that would tempt more people to get the digital version, I think.
Probably would. Probably like, fuck it.
Which would make them more money in the long run. Oh.
Good marketing going on here. Marketing tips.
Yeah. Don't listen to us, PlayStation.
No.
Just put the good one in both.
So Push Square posts up a rundown of Digital Foundry's early findings into the PS5 games. They write, while the PlayStation 4 Pro was marketed as a 4K console, it settled for much lower resolutions overall. Some titles like Horizon Zero Dawn implemented elegant reconstruction techniques to cover for this, a technology colloquially referred to as Fox? What? Fax K? I think, maybe? I'm not sure. By some corners of the internet. Oh, like fake K or something.
Faux
K? Yeah, sure. Yeah, 4K, I guess, would be right. Yeah, like not 4K, but 4K. I think that's what it is. Yeah, we found it. It doesn't look like the PlayStation 5 will be relying on the same techniques. However, as Digital Foundry's early analyst of the system's recent reveal event suggests, that Demon Souls, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, Little Devil Inside, Pragmata, Deathloop, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Returnal, and Stray all run in native 4K. It also believes that Horizon, Forbidden West, and Gran Turismo 7 run at 2160p, but it's waiting on more footage to confirm. That is 2K for anyone who doesn't like keep up with their spec. Some may argue that the pursuit of native 4K is a waste of resources, especially as the artifacting caused by aforementioned reconstruction techniques are particularly perceptible. Sorry, yeah, fucking words. To the average eye, many of the titles also run at 30 frames per second, whereas Astro's Playroom and Sackboy: Big Adventure both experience resolution dips while running at 60 frames per second. Still, it's good to know that native 4K appears to be the target for many developers working on PS5. Blah 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 blah. So here, I once again, I don't know if this is a hot take or like just to boil it down for some people. If you even have like a souped up amazing PC, you will still struggle to do 4K gaming with ray tracing. The 4K plus ray tracing is still kind of an absolute nightmare for hardcore, the best of PCs. It's still 4K ray tracing, 60 frames. Like there's plenty of games. You turn on ray tracing, get 4K, you're going to be playing somewhere between 30 to 40 frames. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to use ray tracing because it doesn't hit 60. Like people play, for instance, I guess, Battlefield, play the campaign, ray tracing, play it under 60, and then they turn all that shit off, obviously, for the multiplayer. So to expect these new video game consoles to somehow pull off the miracle of doing stuff that PC still struggles to do, I think is obviously expecting too much. However, this whole thing about them saying Horizon and Gran Turismo maybe just running at 2K, I think that might be a good plan of action where, like, for instance, RTX, NVIDIA, they have this technology, what was it called? DLSS? Yeah, and they've like put out several versions of it, and basically that's sort of like this reconstruction technique type stuff they're talking about here, where it's it tries to like print out a lower resolution file to make it to basically make the game run smoother. So you're supposed to use DLSS in pairing with ray tracing, so it helps lower the load, and then you can achieve higher frame rates. So potentially they could be like outputting some of these bigger games, and they're like, it's native 2K, we will up-res it from 2K to 4K, and then you can get your ray tracing and hopefully hit closer to 60 frames that way. It's not quote-unquote true 4K, but it's what they might have to do to be able to hit the stats and numbers they want. Now, what I do fully expect is that when a bunch of these games start coming out and or even closer to release and we do get some numbers on them, I bet you there's going to be a bunch of crybabies on the internet about some of these things not hitting 60 frames if they're running the way they want and whatever else. But I think the way around this is I think all games on PS5, Xbox Series X, or all games that have any sort of competitive mode especially, or even just like a multiplayer mode especially, I think all games in general, though, should just have the performance versus fidelity option that even a lot of games on the PS4 Pro at the moment do in the menu, where you can go, hey, like, for example, God of War. I mean, Horizon, a bunch of them do it, but in this example, God of War, it's like you boot up the game, you can say, hey, I want to play this game at 30 frames per second, but I want the high resolution. Please, I just want the pretty graphics. Or you can say, I can do without the pretty, but give me the higher frames. And I think that should just be a thing that every single game should have. because then it just pleases and lets everybody pick what they want to get out of it. You know, it's like, what do you care more about? Then everyone can just be happy and shut the fuck up. You know. Do you have any thoughts on all this stuff? Are you gonna get a 4K?
Nope. So I mean, nobody can tell the difference. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
No, yeah. No.
It's only a very small amount of the audience that really cares about this high-end, minute graphical update, I think, in my opinion.
In your opinion, it's wrong. Your opinion is wrong.
Apparently.
It's very wrong. There's no argument about this one. It's just a straight-up wrong take. But my thing is...
Anyone under the age of 16 is not going to care.
Maybe.
And then anyone over the age of 45 is not going to care because honestly their eyesight's starting to go. They're not going to be able to tell the difference.
You had to like think of your age and be like, okay, where's like...
We're much higher.
Well, you aim higher than that. You're like, you probably thought about saying like 35 or something. Like, no, too close to home. But so look. Now you need to save your money and upgrade that piece of shit laptop first. But honestly, so if you're getting a PS5, do you think there's ever a stage where you're like, man, I should probably upgrade the old TV to get some shit?
One 4K televisions are cheap.
What?
Once they're cheap, then I'll be like,
but
okay.
They're cheap now. Like, how much? What do you want?
$200. That'd be nice.
$200.
You know,
you disturbed me. Look, and I'm not saying money grows on trees. All I'm saying is, I wish for you to at least desire it. You know, like I'm not telling you to go out and stack them credit cards today, but I just want you to educate yourself.
I want you to want this.
Yeah, I want you to want this is what I want. How do you not watch any of these things? Especially like how do you not look at Ratchet and Clank or Rift Apart? Sorry, I don't have the A in that. Rift Apart.
Yeah.
Right? How do you not look at that and go?
Yeah, I look at it and go. Because I can't watch it in 4K, so can't miss what you don't know.
Did you see it? By the way, side note, did you see? Because I just remembered. Did you see that tweet going around by the person who was like, "Man, I thought there was like some bad anti-aliasing on this Horizon Forbidden West, but it turns out that Aloy's got these tiny little hairs on her neck or something."
Yeah.
And then this dude's like, "Man, hope you can shave in this game." That was one of my favorite tweets I've seen.
It's not like it wasn't like black hair. It was just your basic skin follicles or whatever.
It's a basic like, what everyone fucking has. That I think the dude like kind of self-owned because he's like
he's never been that close.
He proved that he's never been close enough to see that tiny little fucking hairs exist. Yeah. That's quite funny. But also I was like, damn, if that legit is supposed to be tiny little hairs, that's some hardcore fucking
some Pixar level.
Yeah, we go next. Well, there was I don't have it here because I was like, well, if I'm talking about this, I don't need to talk about that as well. But there was another story where someone did the comparison, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Time looks better than will look better playing it, like not like CGI cutscenes, but like it'll look better as you're playing it than the entirety of the Ratchet and Clank animated movie that came out a couple of years ago. Like,
yeah,
it was crazy. And they did like even screenshot comparisons. It was like, yeah, the fur and everything, highly more detailed, like all these little things like that. The animated movie looks like it came out like 10 years ago when you compare the screenshots. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, it just goes to show how much care
and
effort was put in.
Also just how fast technology moves, I guess. Like,
I guess the development process as well. I assume that Ratchet and Clank movie was on a small budget, just quick turnaround. Whereas this Insomniac game has probably been made by people who love and care about it as well.
Possible. I mean, I would be presuming and hoping that everyone making any sort of game is probably caring about it, but I don't know who made the movie. I can't remember the whole deal about.
It's probably like some sort of Sony animation.
Yeah, probably true.
Subsidiary.
All right, so next, I don't know if it's another PS5 event update thing. So Game Sutra, right? The little devil inside developer NeoStream has apologized for including racist stereotypes in a teaser trailer shown during the recent PlayStation 5 showcase. The studio said it received a series of inquiries. I love the way that's phrased, by the way. Series of inquiries relating to a character's features in the trailer that fed into archaic and offensive racial stereotypes by depicting enemies with dark skin, dreadlocks, and large lips. According to the developer, the characters in the question were intended to be, quote, protectors or guardians of a particular mystic region in the world of Little Devil Inside, and were not created in reference to any real African or Afro-American human tribes. Irrespective of its intentions, the studio has acknowledged the mistake and pledged to fix the design by removing the dreadlocks, changing the bold lips, and altering the skin tone, and tweaking the dark dart blower, saying so it looks less like a joint. If those fixes are deemed adequate, the team said it may change the design entirely. They said on their Facebook, racist stereotypes of any kind were absolutely not intended. We were not aware of the stereotypical connotations and wish to apologize to anyone who may be offended by the character design. In addition, no one, not just limited team members, has ever committed or hinted on the character designs. However, these characters have not been revealed publicly elsewhere prior to the event. The focus was on creating colorful masks, and our designers were researching masks from all over various cultures. As characters in the game, they move in groups and use blow darts to paralyze when hit. We wish to add character to the mask design and give it life to it. Something like the little Kakamora characters in Disney's Moana. However, regardless of our intentions, if any people were offended in any way, we sincerely apologize. And for some reason, I saw people, of course, you got I saw the crowd of like, they shouldn't have to apologize, and this is blown out proportions, censorship, all that sort of stuff. But all I thought when I read this, I was like, damn, this is like the pure example of how you should respond to this sort of criticism, I think especially that last line, like where they're like, we didn't understand, but we're sorry, and we understand now, and we're going to fix it. Instead of doubling down and being like, yeah, but we didn't mean it that way, so it's not offensive, even if you're offended.
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel like most studios would do. They'll be like, well, we didn't mean for it to be offensive, so that means it cannot be offensive, which is not how like real life works. Sometimes you do things that may not have had bad intentions, but they still are offensive. And as they point out in the thing, they're like, no one had seen these designs outside of the studio, so they never had anyone to be like, hey,
feedback.
Yeah, that's probably not on, kind of thing. So, and I mean, I never thought about this as I was watching it.
No, me neither.
But obviously, I'm fucking not someone that would probably
ignorant. Yeah,
completely ignorant thing. But as soon as I saw this, I was like, I can understand how that's could be viewed by people as a racist stereotype for especially like the tribal thing and African tribes and so on and so forth. Yeah. And it's like such a small thing anyway. So it's like, why get on your fence and try and protect this when it's not super integral or necessary to, and you can just change and fix it and make everyone happier and move on with life, and then those people buy a game and
they didn't have to apologize, but they chose to, and that's cool. It's as simple as that. I mean, I'm sure we've seen games that have similar designs like this before.
Oh, there was probably heaps like, years and years ago, but
yeah, I mean, a couple of small tweaks, and I'm sure it'd be, again, they mentioned some small tweaks they'll make to it, the design and that kind of thing, and it'll be fine. So,
pretty sure there's character designs like that in the Crash Bandicoot games.
I get the impression they're not like integral to the game either. So
no, they're just like one level, random villains probably hunt you down. That's what they described it. Like, was trying to make a tribe. They went a bit too heavy into what was inspiring them and ended up making what looks like a character. Or,
I mean, hopefully they go the complete opposite route and they like going around with little bow ties and top hats.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. It's like in a game where they've shown they've got like monsters and fancy creatures and whatever else, just go for gold. Just do whatever you want. Doesn't really matter, you know. And I was glad to see this because when the story first popped up, I was like, no, I really like that trailer, and I was really looking forward to this. I hope they don't fucking screw this one up. And then when they put out their response, like I saw the response later that day, I think I was like, okay, we're good. You know, like that was a good way to go about it. All right, so outside, we got a couple news stories that are outside the follow-up PS5 section, which was mostly what this episode was about. But there was a fair few things that come after the thing. Star Wars Squadron got its reveal cinematic trailer overnight. Of course, we're recording this early Tuesday morning. The full reveal will be happening this Friday at EA Play, which is on at 9 a.m. Friday morning, in case you would like to tune into and watch that. So we know that's going to be there. But what were your overall thoughts on this cinematic trailer for Star Wars Squadrons?
It was very pretty. I mean, it obviously Battlefront 2 looked very good. This looked very good as well. Looked like a dogfight out of the Star Wars universe, but other than that, there wasn't a hell of a lot to go on other than it looks like you'll be playing both sides. The ships look good, but yeah, very little to go on. But yeah, looks pretty, and that's a good start.
Yeah, I got it. So the cinematic, I was like, this is cool, but it wasn't blowing my socks off because honestly, it just shows not much. Like it's pretty, as you said, but it was like, okay, this could have been This could have been a cutscene from Battlefront 2. You know, like it looks good, cool. Ships.
Pretty good chance it was a cutscene from Battlefront.
Yeah, yeah.
I suspect they've just got
same engine.
They've probably got universal Star Wars assets across
probably
all the teams working on the games.
In the description for the game is plan every skirmish with your squadron in the briefing room before taking off to the evolving battlefield across the galaxy. Pilots will triumph as the team in the Pilots will triumph as a team in known and never before seen locations, including the gas giant of Yavin Prime and the shattered moon of Gallatin. So then they write that you'll take full control of different starfighter classes from both the New Republic and Imperial fleets, which does mean that this game is going to be taking place sometime after Return of the Jedi because they're now the New Republic. But they're still fighting the Imperials. So that's when this game's taking place, which is when most of Battlefront 2 took place. Spoilers, because that game like kind of starts. Oh, that's not spoilers. Like the game starts at the end of destruction of the second Death Star. The most interesting thing I got out of it though is that the entire game is going to be playable in VR. So it's not going to have a VR section, a VR mode. You can't just play the single player in VR. Apparently, you'll be able to play everything in VR. So the entire single player and the multiplayer mode will be playable in VR. And I guess that means I've got my game. Like
finally.
You know, it's so weird.
After years of asking, you've got your what was the Battlefront one?
The
VR thing.
I can't remember
X-Wing Squad,
yeah.
X-Wing something.
The demo thing. Yeah, which I guess if that's this is going to be a better version of that, then I'm all about it. You know, I'm quite intrigued to know how they can craft a game, or like, did they design it in tandem with both in mind? You know what I mean? Like, where they're like, we're making this a VR game, we're making this also a non-VR game, so we're going to make sure everything balances on both sides, so it just makes the development process easy. Or did they like decide it last second to make a VR mode and then hope, because that would be a nightmare, because then I'd be super worried that the VR mode will actually turn out rather poorly. I'm hoping that's not the case. So it's going to be on PSVR. It's going to be on PC VR. The game, we do have a release date already, so it's coming out October 2nd, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So that's exciting. I'm very keen to find out more this Friday. They did give hints. They said that there will be a multiplayer mode. It's going to have 5v5 fights. Of course, you'll get different vehicle ship classes. And the multiplayer mode sounds like it's going to be very much designed around like different ships can do different abilities. So I guess it's like maybe there's a healing ship, the ship, a tank ship, and you got to kind of fill your role within the 5-man squadron to pull your weight on your team. And that sounds fun because, as I said before on whatever show it was recently, I really enjoyed the ship stuff in Battlefront 2, so I can get down for the multiplayer in this and the single player in this. And my only big question is, like, the game's going to be very pretty, obviously, on my PlayStation Pro 4K television set. So then it's like, do I play it once normally and then do VR like a second run? Or do I do VR for... I'm going to have a real conundrum on my hands about how I go about playing the game.
I think you play a bit of multiplayer in both, and then you see how from there which way you like playing.
It's maybe true. You know what would solve my problem? To make my life easier? EA, if you're listening. Motive Montreal, if you're listening. You've still got time. The game's in October. What you need to do is you need to put a trophy in the game that says beat the game in normal mode, and then you need a separate trophy that says beat the game in PSVR. What do you mean no?
That would turn off a ton of trophy hunters who don't have PSVR.
Too bad, Sometimes you win them, you lose them, Win them, you lose them. Or just
2
make
trophy lists
that says beat it twice.
No, just two separate trophy lists. One for playing it in normal, one playing it in PSVR.
That ain't gonna
Platinum
happen.
For each.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love that, but it ain't gonna happen. I'm trying to be realistic over here, Ash. Here's my second option. There's simply a trophy that says beat the game twice.
Yeah.
Then
you'd play it twice.
Then I'd play it twice.
I'd be interested to see how cutscenes work. That would be the only thing.
I would presume it would take you out. I mean, that is the truly interesting question. Some games I know have done the thing where it's like it takes you out, and that you're watching the big screen VR thing to watch them on, which would be kind of annoying. But then also, if in the, or maybe they design all the cutscenes that take place in first person. Oh no, because we've seen the trailer that it'll take place in first person. Maybe they do in the game. I don't know. That'll be the way to answer it, I guess. Like if all the cutscenes take place in a first person view, then obviously they can make all of them take place first person VR. I don't know. Lots of interesting questions about this. Very keen to find out more. We'll have full thoughts on this week's upcoming episode of Arcade Couch releasing on next Monday, because we're recording that on the weekend after EA Play. So if you want to hear mine, Ash, and Kieran's full thoughts on Star Wars Squadron, go check that out. Also, I'm not going to lock it in now, but I'm pretty sure that they were teasing. I was going to research it more, but obviously we're recording this now. I might research it more after. But I saw something on Twitter where someone pointed out the squadron name that's in the trailer is actually the name of Harrison Doula's squadron in the Star Wars Alphabet Squadron book series. And then that would mean that the character in the trailer, that's the same species as her, which I didn't assume is her because I'm not a fucking alienist, that would mean that maybe it was actually Hera. And if you don't, Hera's one of the main characters from Star Wars Rebels. So that would be kind of cool.
Interesting.
If she's actually one of the main characters in it. And that would also mean that the game's sort of a tie into the Star Wars Alphabet Squadron book series, which also would be quite interesting. Anyway, 2 other things quickly. Destiny 2 on PS5 is a free upgrade, runs at 60 frames per second, has crossplay rights, push square as part of its latest live stream last week. Bungie has confirmed its plans for the next-gen version of Destiny 2. Those who own the game on PlayStation 4 will be able to upgrade for free to PlayStation 5, and the studio promises 60 frames per second on Sony's upcoming console. What's more, PS4 and PS5 players will be able to play together thanks to crossplay support. In short, it sounds like the developer wants this transition to be as smooth as possible. So these are things we've obviously brought up and talked about before, like how's it going to work, particularly when we're obviously thinking about Apex kind of thing, like how's the player base going to be for that, how's this sort of thing. If we're going to use this as the template, I think we're good. Like if this is going to be the way most developers are going to go about it that have the ability to go about it, where it's like the PS5 version will be cross-playing with the PS4 version, then you're all playing together. Like maybe the new version plays at a high frame rate. Bad luck to the PS4 players, I guess. Like that's no different than if you're playing on a shitty PC and someone's got a better PC than you and they get more frames. Like BL champ. I think that's just the what you got to go through at that point. But so this is also good, and this is also sort of also cements up the thing because people, of course, keep asking questions about how Sony's going to go about answering Xbox's smart delivery system, and it's very much like seems Sony is just not going to have a smart delivery system because all of their PS5 games, they're like, these are PS5 games, they're not PS4 games. So we're not doing that sort of thing. But all developers that want to, I guess, are going to have the option to just implement their own free upgrade system.
Which is kind of what Xbox is doing with their smart delivery. They've confirmed in the last few days that all their first-party games will be smart delivered, and then it will be up to the developers whether they want to use that for their other titles. Yeah. So like EA is like, only for like the first 12 months.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. The thing with Destiny 2 is it will if you own it on disc, will you still be able to do it?
I would say no.
That would,
but
I mean, maybe because are they going to put out a disc of Destiny 2 on PS5?
Well, I was going to say because I think it might be good because I think people who own like Destiny 2 on disc, they would have brought all of the expansions digitally, and then the base version of Destiny is free now. So
that's true. At
that point, surely you just are good, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm pretty sure it was on PS Plus at one point. So I mean,
I've got it. I haven't played it, but it's there. It's free. It's free on PC. The whatever edition they call it, the Destiny 2 Lite something, whatever. The base version of Destiny is free now. Like, it's not a free to play game, but they got to a point where they had enough expansions and whatever that they were like, this core shit, it's free now. I can go for it, you know, and which makes sense, especially when people are, you know, selling that pre-owned copy of DB games for $5 or whatever. It's like, just make it free at this point. So that's cool. I like the way they're doing that, and I have no problem with Sony being like, look, we're not gonna implement our own super duper mode to go about this. We're just gonna, if developers want to do it, you can do it, and that's fine. That makes sense. Like, as long as they're not turning anyone away. No, you cannot offer free upgrades. That would be terrible. And then the last story to end this episode, a moment of peace and rest for the PlayStation Vita, because over the weekend during the PC gaming show, Persona 4 Golden was revealed, announced. It was leaked, but it was revealed, announced, and it launched on PC via Steam. So the last golden child, if you would, of the PS Vita, and the reason a lot of people still hung on to their PS Vitas, has now left the nest, and it's gone.
I mean, again, Uncharted, Golden Abyss, only place to play it is on Vita.
Yeah, but that game's so good that you didn't play it.
I played some of it.
Let's be real. A lot of reason that the PS Vita was still probably kicking around in people's wardrobes was Persona. Especially Persona fans. I bet you there's Persona fans out there that owned a Vita solely for Golden. You know? Yeah. Guarantee the hardcore would have owned it just for Golden. The PS Vita. That was me pouring one out from a...
What episode is this? Episode
165, I think.
It's now finally dead after we declared it dead 65 episodes ago.
You know, it was just...
It just keeps dying even more.
Just a little premature, you know?
It just keeps dying a little. It just keeps rotting a little bit more. And we have to discuss it each time.
Yeah. Oh, well. So if you never owned a PS Vita, or you owned one and just couldn't be bothered playing it, you can now play Persona 4 Golden on your PC. You should, because it's fun, but also play it on your Vita because...
I mean, maybe it's better on the PC.
I mean, it probably is. They've upgraded. They're like, it's HD graphics now. Yeah. Whatever. You can choose between the Japanese and English voice tracks.
Yeah.
Fucking get hyped.
That's important.
Yeah, do all these sorts of things. So anyway, Paul went out for the Vita. Rest in peace. It died 65 episodes ago. Came back to life. Now it's dead again. I'm sorry. That'll do it for this week's episode of...
I just want to mention... I think last episode we're on together, we did predictions.
Oh, fuck. I forgot, eh?
Yeah. And we'll run through it. Dylan said Horizon 2 would be there at the at the event. That was right.
Yeah, 1 point.
You said we'd see the UI, the PlayStation 5.
0.5.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a 0.5. Bloodborne 2?
Yeah.
No.
Field of Dreams.
4 SKUs for the PlayStation 5.
Look, I'm gonna look.
Give
We
you
still
half
don't know.
point.
We still don't know officially because the digital and the normal one could have 2 sizes each, and then I would be right.
You said they would be revealed there.
Oh no. Just I
Half
could be
point.
right in the future. I'm just saying now I could be right in the future.
I'll give you a half point. And then you said PSVR 2.
Yeah, that was a Field of Dream as well.
That was Field Dreams. I said Gran Turismo 7. That was there. The new Blue Point game. That was there. New Housemarque game. That was there. Ratchet and Clank. That was there. And Silent Hills. That wasn't there. So 4-2. I win again.
Dude, but I want to point out that I reckon we would have tied if I hadn't have done 2 Field of Dreams.
I didn't think the Ratchet and Clank game was going to be there.
No, I thought that was it. I thought that was a lock. The one that I felt Ratchet and Clank was easy, Horizon was easy, Gran Turismo was easy. Well, I can't remember what other ones I said. The Housemarque one was probably not. That's a. I wouldn't 100% at that, but those the Horizon, GTA, Gran Turismo, and Ratchet and Clank, I would have locked as easy picks.
Yeah.
Because out of all like the PlayStation IP
family, yeah,
they were probably the easiest ones to be like, well, they're probably shuffling up the spectrum at this point. However, if we were going super hardcore, I would have said Ratchet and Clank 2 remake, not Ratchet and Clank
new game.
Yeah, that would have probably been my thing. Well, there you go, have your trophy. Just like didn't crush me though, you know.
4-2.
Yeah.
Didn't get a clean sweep, so I guess.
I got to stop doing these.
Still things to strive for,
but they're too much fun. I can't, but I probably will never stop. And here's why, Ash.
No,
because the day that I say something that's a Field of Dream, and then it happens, that feeling,
it'll be so good. Yeah,
it'll be so good. So I can't.
It's like when Batman finally comes out.
Yeah, it'll be the one time no one predicts it for anything, and then I'll be like, well, they ripped off. So yeah, no, can't help myself. You can follow us on Twitter by heading explosionnetwork.com/Twitter to find all our Twitters. Go tell Ash.
Good work.
Or something, yeah. You can suggest topics or send in questions for the show by emailing mail at explosionnetwork.com with the subject line Platinum Explosion. And until next week, remember that every trophy counts. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com. And please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.